Dear IGCSE and O-level students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Nusrat Jahan, your economics instructor. In this chapter, the basic economic problem, I will cover the definition of economics, the nature of economic problem, the core questions of economics, free goods versus economic good. So let's start with the very basic definition of economics. Economics is a social science that focuses on production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. So what is production? Production means producing a useful product or service that can satisfy someone's need. Distribution means allocating the limited resource, and consumption means using the product or service. So, economics basically deal with the problem related to production, distribution, and consumption. And the problem basically occurs because of the problem of scarcity. So, what is scarcity? Scarcity means the limited availability of resource. So, now what is resource? Resource are the factors of production, or you can simply say the materials or stuffs needed for producing a useful product that can satisfy someone's need, and that is resource. So, as economics mostly deal with the scarcity of resources, it can also be defined as the study of scarcity, or you can simply say economics is the study how people use the limited resources. Okay, so I think the definition of economics is clear. Now let's move to the nature of economic problem. What is the main economic problem? It is the problem of making choice. It is the problem of making choice backed by the problem of limited resource with unlimited wants. Limited resource with unlimited wants. Now let me explain you. A very common human nature is unlimited wants and needs. People want more and more stuffs until they die. But the factors needed for producing this product and services are very limited. That's why people in every sector have to go through the problem of making choice. And the problem of choice, that which wants or which demand should be fulfilled first. For more clarification, let me give you a practical example. Suppose your father gave you $100 as your pocket money for 1 month. Now tell me, is your wants are bound within this $100? The answer must be no. Because you want many things in this 1 month. You want to hang out with your friends, you want to go to shopping, you want to watch movies, and many more, right? But as your budget is limited within $100, you have to choose between your main wants, right? And it is very simple. Everyone we do it. So just like this example, people in every sector, whether you are a producer, you are a businessman, you are a housemaker, you are students, our resource is very limited. So we have to choose between our wants. And that's the main problem of economics. Now let's understand the three basic questions of economics. Okay. Now the question is how to solve the problem. Basically, economics analyze the problem and make the solution. That's why we study economics. So now the question is in your mind, how to solve this problem. It is very simple. By answering three main questions, we will analyze them. We will learn them, the questions. First, you can see in the graphical presentation that here some human wants, right? Human wants including car, house, jewelry, phone, laptop, and so on. After fulfilling one demand for one stuff, we demand for another one. And this is very common for us, right? And on the other hand, the factors of production are very limited. You can see in the graphical presentation there is some land, indicating some land, workforce, machineries, right? The economist the economist divided these resources or the factors of production into four categories: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. So we will learn about this broadly in our next chapter, which is the factors of production. So as you know, the human wants are unlimited, but the resources, the factors of production are very limited. That's why the producer have to decide that which product or service need to produce first. So during this decision making process, during this choice making process, they answer three questions. Let us understand these three questions. The very first one is what to produce. Suppose a producer has a land. He can produce any product on his mind, like he can produce paddy on his land, he can produce wheat on his land, he can produce corn in his land. So, but he has to analyze which product would be more suitable for his land, which product would be more profitable for his business, and which product is more demanding in his society. Next, we have how to produce. The second question is how to produce. The producer have to choose the type of production process. Here you must note that there are two types of production process. First one is capital intensive. Second one is labor intensive. It is very simple. Using more capital or machineries in production process is called capital intensive production. So in economics, capital means machineries, not money or investment. So on the other hand, using more labor than capital is called labor intensive production. So if the producer is producing in a developing country or underdeveloped country, like within available cheap labor like Bangladesh, Georgia, Tanzania, Ghana, he can definitely choose labor intensive production to minimize his cost of production, right? On the other hand, if the producer is producing in a developed country with expensive labor like USA, UAE, Switzerland, he must choose capital intensive production process to minimize his cost. Okay. So the last question we have to answer, for whom to produce. The last question is for whom to produce. This question basically indicating the structure of consumers. So it is very simple with limited resource, we cannot satisfy everyone's want. We cannot satisfy everyone. So we have to decide the category of consumers, right? For example, if the producer is producing some grocery items, then it must be for whole population. Like he is producing a rice, he's producing wheat, he's producing milk. It's maybe for the mass population or the whole population. But if the producer or if the producer is producing in producing a baby food, for example, the producer is producing a baby food, then it must be only for babies, not for the whole population. So his targeted customer must be the babies, right? So there are so many categories of production. The producer the producer have to choose under which category he will produce his product or he will produce. So I hope that these three questions of economics is very clear now. The last one is the free good versus economic good in our first chapter, the basic economic problem. What is free good? The resources that are freely available in nature are not, and these are not priced, are referred as free good. On the other hand, economic good is a good or service that producer provides to meet the needs and wants of consumers, and we have to pay for it. Let me give you example, very common example. For example, water from falls, river, sea are free. We don't have to pay for using it, right? But if the water is purified and became suitable for drinking and using in our household, it became economic good, right? Because it came from a production process, and we have to pay for using it. Let me give you another example. The fresh air we intake from environment is 100% free, right? We don't have to pay for it. We don't have to pay for anyone for it using it. It's 100% free. So it's 100% a free good. But if a oxygen mask is given to a person during his shortness of breath, he has to pay a lot because it became an economic good because it came from a production process and the producer added value to this oxygen cylinder because the person is unable to intake oxygen naturally, right? So so I hope that you are able to distinguish between free good and economic good, and you will understand how a free good became an economic good. So you must be careful. So if my lectures help you, then don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. See you in next class. Allah Hafiz.